Damn near every place has some emoji picker that you can use to, well, pick emojis, but all of them have this one huge issue, the fact that they are not the same. For example, here on my Mastodon page, what's the hotkey to toggle this emoji picker? Is it Control E? No? Well, what is it? I guess there's no hotkey. We go to Discord. Here it's Control E. Great. But it's kinda slow. And it also has a lot of like specific emojis, which is both good and annoying. We go to Telegram, it has its own. We go to VK, it has its own. Everything has its own emoji picker. Except no, not everything. How the fuck do I insert an emoji in VS Code? You might say, oh, you installed this specific extension. I don't know of anyone, but there probably is an extension to insert emojis in VS Code. But the whole issue is that there are way too many things to do the same exact thing. I wanted to have an emoji picker that would work everywhere. And for quite some time, I've been using this KRunner plugin called EmojiRunner, but it depends on KRunner, while I have recently updated to KRunner 5. Why, you might ask? I don't know. Paru suggested me I do that, and I couldn't update anything else because this depended on KRunner without the 5, so I can't really use it anymore. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I uninstalled it, but let's do it to make sure. So what I needed is another emoji picker that I could use. I found two, which is not a lot. The first one is Emote, and this one I liked a bit more. It has like nice hotkeys, which you can supposedly configure. I haven't gotten to how I would do that, but you can supposedly do that. But the issue with it is that once I installed it with Paru, it didn't actually display the emoji characters, so I had to install it with Flatpak, which is something I immensely don't want to do, but I did regardless, and then it had white mode on instead of a dark theme, which would make more sense as a default. But I guess because Flatpaks are contained within themselves, it couldn't realize that I was using a dark theme. The cool thing about it is that it immediately pastes the emojis that you select, and you can select multiple ones, but it only pastes them automatically if you're on X11. Doesn't work on Wayland, and I use X11, so that's pretty cool, but I didn't like the design very much. I think it's kinda ugly, and well, also I don't want to have it be in white theme, and I even more so don't want to figure out how to fix it. There's another one called Flimozy, which I like less. Why? Because the first time when I open it, it also doesn't show emojis, and then when I close it and reopen it, now it doesn't show anything, it's just like a blank window. Very, very strange, although the design is at least supposed to be quite pretty, but I haven't seen it, even though I opened it multiple times. And I always hate when emoji pickers also have GIFs, because you never want them. But sure, I guess maybe somebody wants them. This is just silly, but I'm not here to talk about these two specific programs themselves. You should check out these applications for yourself so you don't have any bias like I did, because I didn't really put that much effort into trying to make them work. You know why? Because Kitty, my terminal emulator, has a Unicode insert kind of thing. So when you press Ctrl-Shift-U, you get into this window. Here you can insert a Unicode or a hex code to get your character. You press Enter, and here you go, it got pasted in. Let's go back. We also have name, where you can use names of emojis to find them. Let's search for eyes, and we have a bunch of results. To pick this one, which is quite obviously what we want, you would either press tab or arrow keys, or what I like most is space, comma, and then the index, and it explains it here. Then once again you press enter, and here you go. Let's go back. to favorites now, which you can get to either by pressing F4 or Control 4, and it has your list of favorites. How exactly it starts using some of them as favorites, I'm not sure, because I highly doubt that this symbol specifically made sense to be in third place. So apparently I used it before, and it apparently understood to put it there. Why that's the case, I have no clue whatsoever, and it's not really explained at all in the documentation. But you can actually configure this list. If you press F12, you get to the file that contains all of them. All you really need to do is to type in a hex code, a Unicode, and these comments are not necessary, but you could add them for explanation to yourself. Where is this file even located though? Let's look at it. It is in home.config kitty. Let's go here, and here we can see Unicode input favorites. That's where the file is if you want to edit it. I skipped one tab here called emoticons. Why? Because it doesn't work, I think. So what I imagine it's supposed to do is have a list of emoticons. Unsure what that implies specifically. I imagine it's like multiple normal characters together to form a face, but I have none of them. I read the docs, I read the implementation of the plugin that we're currently talking about. I have made a system-wide search to try to find the file that it's supposed to parse, and I don't have it. I have no clue what it's supposed to do. Which is why I created this issue on the Kitty GitHub page, which I'm going to leave a link to. Chances are I'm stupid, but it's weird that it's not explained whatsoever in the documentation, like how it's supposed to work and what's supposed to happen. Right, cool. So we have an emoji picker, or a Unicode picker for that, but it's not very useful to just be able to pick something and enter it in your terminal, because generally emojis is not what you want in your terminal, it's everywhere else. So how do we use this outside? I cooked up this horrendous command that we can use for this. Basically, you copy it, go to shortcuts on KDE, and then create a command with this and set a hotkey to it. Now, wherever we are, we can press that hotkey. It gives us a terminal with that emoji picker. Then we can do something like this. We pick it, and now it's in our clipboard, so we can easily paste it. You could also, on X11 specifically, use x.tool, typed like that, with the type command, to also immediately paste it, but it's entirely too slow for me for some reason, where pasting it in myself is just more convenient. What does this command actually do? It's quite monstrous, to be fair. First of all, we create a Kitty window with the title of Emoji Picker. Now, this isn't actually important, but is for me, because I create a specific window rule to have it be a specific size. So that's just an idea of how to grab this specific window to do something with it, not necessarily needed though. Then in this new Kitty window, we run shell with the command of this. So kitty plus kitten Unicode input is the command that you have to use to get to that feature. So let's try it out. We just type it in, boom, and do something like eyes, 7, boom, and it prints to std out. Would you look at that? However, what's bad is that it also prints the ending new line. If it didn't, it would have a special character here, but it doesn't. So it also has an ending new line, which is kinda annoying. Alright, then we use the tab flag to get a specific tab every time on startup. By default, just goes back to where you ended last time. So maybe this is a bad idea actually. And this output that would go to stdout, we actually print to a file. Then we read that file and pipe it to xclip to put it into our clipboard. And that's it. Your question might be, why don't we immediately pipe to xclip? Good question, because that was my first solution as well. But for some reason, if we pipe it to Xclip immediately, it holds kinda infinitely. So it doesn't put the emoji in your clipboard, first of all, and then you can't access your clipboard like I'm doing here. I can't look at it for like a few seconds, so it just holds, I guess waiting for more input, even though all the input is done. It's very, very weird, but if we write to a file and read from a file, everything is fine. Very, very weird. The better question is this a good solution? No, not really. First of all, are you using the Kitty terminal? If you're not, I doubt this solution is worth it, because you're installing a whole ass terminal just for the Unicode insert feature. It's pretty weird that this huge of a feature is just part of the terminal. I think it's kind of strange at least. Then you also have the dependency of KDE in my case, or at least some way to make a hotkey to execute a command. But you probably have a way of doing that, I imagine. Then you also have to pipe into your clipboard, which should be okay. But by the way, I'm on X11, so Xclip works for me, but if you're on Wayland, it probably won't. What you would have to use is, I think, this package. Don't quote me on that, but the last time I was on Wayland, first of all, I hated it. Second of all, I think it was this package, and then you can Wayland copy, which I for some odd reason have installed, even though I don't use Wayland. That's what you would use instead of Xclip. So yeah, you have to figure out how to pipe into your clipboard as well. While something like Emote or Flimosy already have all of that done for you with a nice interface that might even appear faster than a whole ass terminal window. So really consider if this is the type of path that you want to go on. I surely do, because I think it's fun, but it's not necessarily the most efficient. However, both Emote and Flimosy had issues that I didn't like, so that's why I decided to do it this stupid way. And if you enjoyed this video, consider following me on Mastodon. Press a like, type some comments, maybe have a question or a suggestion. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss my content, but most importantly, stay fresh, cheese bags. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!